Dan.
Monster nom nom.
Flawless impression of Sylvester Stallone.
Thank you. I just had to put my lip as far away from my face as possible. Down.
What does that even mean?
Yeah, his lip is always slanted to the right, and he's like, "Don't worry about it," like that.
Sylvester Stallone. I guess his lip is slightly odd. It's
Yeah, it's exaggerated, Lois. It's exaggerated.
He has very long eyebrows. Okay, now that we've got that out of the way, what's going on today, Dan? What's happening?
Yeah, well, we're back, and it's the 86th episode of Shouting Into the Void, trademark.gov. And we're gonna...
number one, we have not trademarked it, and number two, we are not affiliated with the British government. Or any government, actually.
We are affiliated with the independent zone of Rojava in northern Syria.
What? No, we're not. What the fuck is that?
It's a libertarian socialist sort of commune. And
I see.
And they're not as bad as they sound.
They do sound very bad. You're not selling me.
How are they bad? You should look. Obviously, in terms of political experiments, they're actually quite good.
Sorry, hang on. Sorry, your way of introducing me to this group of people is you sort of. I'd like to state for the record that I have no idea who this group of people is. You might be making this up. This might be from a comic book for all I know.
I'm not. It's like that episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia where Frank sells his weird cola to Boko Haram and tries to become their press manager.
I'm not gonna lie, Dan. You're not endearing me to this random group of people.
Yeah, they're not Boko Haram. They're sort of it's like anarchism. It's sort of left-wing libertarianism is what they believe in. They're a direct democracy.
Okay, and have they done any horrific things in their country?
I don't know. I just know that.
Okay.
So we're not affiliated with them. Okay, it was a joke.
I feel like I'm gonna have to Google them after the episode. Then I'll discover some horrific war crimes they've done, and I'll be like, "Oh fuck!"
Yeah, then we're gonna get this episode banned, but. They're not like the government of Corto Maltese. Hey,
whoa, he brought it round. Way.
But before we talk about any of that, we have some bullshit to get to, don't we?
We do.
Shall I spin the wheel?
Yeah, do it.
Way. Still spinning, Lewis. I know Discord doesn't like you to hear it. Here it is. It stopped.
It doesn't. Way.
Love Island. 1 week on from the...
That's been happening, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has, and it finished last week. I was watching it with my partner, and it was a fucking shit show. I tell you that.
Why was it a shit show? What happened?
Well, what do
you
know?
Was there slapping of any kind?
Well,
did somebody throw a drink in somebody else's face?
No.
Well then what's the fucking point?
What do you know about Love Island, Lewis?
I am aware that the premise of the show is that a bunch of strangers go to a house.
Yeah.
And then they stay there and they all have sex with each other.
They don't really have... I mean, they do, in the later episodes, when, they've, they're together for, a while, which in their case is 2 days.
Because I always presumed it was because I never watched Big Brother, but it was something that my parents watched when I was a kid. So sometimes I'd catch it when I was sat in the living room reading a book or something. And I always presumed it was essentially the romance/sex bits of Big Brother, but distilled into a show. I presumed it was essentially that. Because I've watched... Because one year I did an advert for Uber Eats that was sort of attached to Love Island.
That's right.
I've forgotten what the name is for that type of advert, but I did that. And
Uber Eats sponsors, please.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and so I watched.
No, I'm asking them. I'm asking them to sponsor us.
Oh right, okay, yeah, that'd be great. But yeah, I watched enough of an episode until I saw the ad spot that I was in, and then I turned it off. So I've seen 40 minutes of one episode, and I know very little else. Yeah,
okay, so like you're saying, strangers go into this island, which isn't an island, it's in fucking...
Oh, it's actually an archipelago.
Yeah, I think it's on a very big mainland. I think it might be Mallorca.
Oh, okay.
Is that an island? Mallorca isn't an island, is it?
Mallorca isn't. Oh, there's those Spanish islands off the coast of Africa. Mallorca, is it one of them? Island in Spain. Yeah, Mallorca is an island.
Where
off
is
the coast of
Love Island filmed?
In the Mediterranean Sea. Well, the
Mallorca is okay. Fine, it's an island. Fuck's sake. That's my biggest hitch gone out the window. But yeah, so it's very conventionally attractive strangers go into this island, and they partner up, and there's like recouplings and stuff, and you learn about them, and the whole point of the show is to see who will fall in love and who will win the £50,000 at the end of the show. Now, the reason I watch it is because I like seeing fake people become even faker in the service of fakeness, okay?
Okay.
So the first hitch I have is the £50,000 at the end of the show. £50,000 is a lot of money it's certainly a lot of money to me. I'd imagine it'd be a lot of money
most people, really.
Yeah, most people would see that as, yeah, fucking hell, 50k. But the problem is, to get onto Love Island, you already have to be semi-rich and semi-popular through Instagram influencing. So right away, these people aren't really, ordinary people. They're not just your average person going in to find love, because that would be boring as shit for some reason. And yeah, so it's you know that it's bullshit when you're watching it, but sometimes the people that go in are that fake and that false that the audience will then say, "Wow, how fake are they?" It's like it's like I'm trying to think of it. It's like seeing a sort of pack of murderers, and one murderer's more savage than the others. They're all murderers, but that guy wore a Norman Bates outfit when he was doing it. Like that sort of way. Yeah, and there's this bloke called Jake. I can't remember his second name. But he was in it, and he essentially faked his way nearly to the finish, and told this girl that he loved her when he didn't. And it was very dramatic, and all it did for me was make me realise, wow, there have been multiple times where other people have done that and got away with it, and everyone's acting as if it's this one hitch in an otherwise incredibly natural and organic way of people coming together. There was a woman called Faye who was emotionally abusive to her partner.
Fucking hell! While they were in the villa, or historically?
Yeah. She was given the moniker of she just flies off the handle sometimes, and was essentially screaming at her partner for I can't even remember what he did. It was that long ago. I think it was so halfway through Love Island, right, when they've eliminated off 3 or 4 people, they have this thing called Casa Amor.
Okay.
Where all the...
I'm not going to lie to you, Dan. Casa Amor sounds like a brothel.
It basically is. So all the guys are sort of taken out of the villa without the girls knowing, and are put...
What, in the middle of the night?
Well, they're all
break in the middle of the night,
yeah.
took a bag over their head, and
the
take
Love
them out
Island.
The door. What?
The Love Island death squads come in, and no. So they all get texts saying, "Yeah, you're all going to Casa Amor. Pack your bags," while the girls are away doing something, right? And they go to this secondary villa.
Right.
Where 6 new girls who are complete strangers come in, and it's essentially the 6 girls' job to essentially steal the guy who they're with from the girls at the original villa, and then 6 new completely different guys come in, and they try and steal the girl that it's so it's like, you've been with this guy for ages, let's send in a complete stranger to test you, right? And basically
this is so cruel.
Yeah. So basically all the girls were completely faithful to their partners, right? And about 3 or 4 of the guys like just fucked it and came back with like a completely different person. And so it wasn't a very good advert for being a straight guy in this show, because the guys that they seem to pick are just fucking arseholes, and it's very like you're saying, it's very cruel, and I liken it to a smoking addiction, this show, because you watch it once and then you're like, oh, I'll watch it again, and then you watch it again, and you watch it again, and you watch it again, and by the time you get to the end of the show, 2 people that you know virtually nothing about, but you think you do because you've seen them for 2 days together, are competing over a 50 grand prize. And that show where you can steal or share the money?
Balls.
Yeah. Well, that's essentially what happens at the end of the show. And
no.
Yeah.
Even after all that, you have. Oh my god.
After all that, you have to sort of. So, has this person been a big fucking liar the entire time, or will you share the money and keep it together? Or will one of you steal it and the other goes home with nothing? Or will you both steal and no one goes home with anything? And fortunately this year, the guy didn't steal and they shared it, and it's all love and all that.
I see.
But, the ratio seems to be that they break up within 2 weeks of Love Island
the show
being
ending.
over. Yeah, so
I can't say I'm surprised.
Yeah, so it's just this weird sort of coming together of incredibly vapid and shallow people, and then putting them to the test with other vapid and shallow people, and a vapid and shallow couple come out on top and share 50k that essentially they don't need, and break up anyway because, why the fuck not, So really the entire exercise is kind of pointless. And it brings me back to my point about political experiments. It's like, if this was a political experiment, then there wouldn't be another season of it, if you know what I mean.
Right.
If Love Island was a way a country was set up, it would have collapsed and we would have tried something else. But because it's a TV show, they keep bringing it back every single year. And I would also like to add that multiple people have died because of this show.
Yes. I'm aware of this as well, yeah.
Caroline Flack, who was the host, sadly committed suicide. Another Islander committed suicide, and I'm sure that there was another person. And I would also like to add the Jeremy Kyle show, which was a fucking horrible, disgusting show with a horrible, disgusting host who would apparently lose his shit and treat his staff like bollocks. Have these weird and bewildered people who clearly have a lot of issues to deal with, bring them on, humiliate them, and then send them home with the apparent sort of the fake sort of, we've solved it, when it really hasn't been solved. And someone killed themselves because of that show, and it was cancelled immediately. But for some reason, this show is allowed to continue, which
It's almost as though it's not about morals, and it's actually about making shed loads of cash.
Yeah.
It's almost as though that's the entire way that TV... isn't that insane?
Absolutely. And it's the most heterosexual show you will ever set your eyes upon.
Right.
I think in the past there have been a couple of lesbian couples in the show, but there has never been a gay couple in the show ever, because I don't know how the ratings would do. I guess I have no idea, but it's just...
Well, I think I remember seeing an article that said something like we can't. I think it was a quote from like a producer or something that said we can't add LGBT plus sort of contestants to Love Island because they would present logistical difficulties. I think was the thing he said, and I remember thinking at the time, what? What does that possibly mean?
What does that even mean?
I have no idea. But it made me smile. It's like, are you straight or are you a logistical difficulty? It just, I don't know. It made me chuckle at the time.
I'm going to ask, why are there no gay couples in Love Island?
Are you asking me?
No, I'm on Google.
I just wanted to double check because I would have to turn around and say, "Got no fucking clue, sunshine." Because you'd think it'd spice things up, wouldn't you?
Fuck me, you're right. That's what he actually said. Logistical difficulty.
And Darius has just pointed out disabled contestants are very rare as well. Yeah, I imagine so. That's
true. I mean, they tried to say it. I think there was a contestant this year with a disability. I'm reading this. The reality show seems straight couples partner uppers returning. The lineup logistical difficult. What does that even mean? In terms of gay islanders.
Danny, we all know that getting bisexual people on a plane to Mallorca is physically impossible. Clearly, that is the logistical difficulty.
Yeah, this show's garbage and it needs to be fucking cancelled.
Yeah, you're right. Oh God, it's certainly something, isn't it?
I say that, but I'll be watching it next year. Yeah.
Oh God.
I think a moral good would come about if this show was sort of put off the air. You know, it seems to be very sort of. It's. I get the feeling that the people that they bring into the show are like, we are better than most people. And God forbid we had normal-looking people with normal-looking bodies on the show. Do you know what I mean? Rather than like this really weird, hyper-idealized version of beauty. And, you know...
Yeah, no.
Because of fucking logistics, there isn't room for real people with real fucking... emotional needs that are just, you know, it's like I don't get it.
The other thing I always think about, I do think about this logistical difficulties bollocks is surely it would I remember this is tangentially related, but I'll bring it back around. Just stick with me. For a very long time, you know RuPaul's Drag Race?
Yeah.
For a very long time, they didn't have any contestants on the show that were either assigned female at birth and went on to become drag queens, or were trans women and went on to become drag queens, or trans men and went on to become drag queens.
Yeah.
They simply just didn't. And RuPaul always was like, well, it's just, you know, it is what it is, you know. It's sort of, I think, I remember actually, now that I've said that out loud, I think he might have made some fairly horrible comments, which I can't remember well enough to quote, but...
Yeah.
It was always a thing that was sort of a black mark on the sort of reputation of the show, which was so brilliantly diverse in a lot of ways. And it's like, well, can't you do a bit better? Can't you just go that extra couple of yards? And they just never did.
No.
But I've forgotten where I was going with this.
No, I mean, it's see when people say, yeah, we don't really have sort of trans men on the show, it just says to me. Well,
I remember now.
You mustn't think that trans men are men. Then, you know, that's the sort of weird feeling I get. It's like, well, why are you othering men?
Precisely.
It's just men that you want on the show. Why are you making it about being trans or not?
You're
you
right.
know.
But what I'm trying to get round to now in the end is I remember seeing this. I think it was a YouTuber. Who sort of does not commentary on Drag Race. That implies he watches it and talks along at the same time. But he was talking about Drag Race, and he spoke and he mentioned, personally, I think it'd be a good thing to have trans contestants on Drag Race, because not only is it obviously the extra representation, but it also allows you to see more interesting interpersonal sort of conflicts and developments, because you're having more interesting and more sort of, what's the word? You're having just, in terms of sheer number, there will be more variables in the people that are in the room.
Yeah.
So even from a TV production standpoint, that's just a good thing.
Yeah.
Because if you have a Love Island house and a Love Island House 2.0, Casa Amor, if you fill these houses with people of varying sexualities, varying everything, then that's just good from a TV point of view, because it will, there's no doubt, it will result in more surprising television, which is what people watch reality TV for. Is the surprise, is the suspense, is the, oh my god, would he actually say that out loud? Oh my god.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what people watch it for.
I mean,
so,
there does
see what I'm getting at?
I do, and I completely agree with you, but I do think that there's a really sort of fundamental sort of heteronormative strain amongst reality television.
Yeah, I do agree. Yeah,
whether it's Towie or Made in Chelsea or Love Island or stuff like it's like I don't know exactly who it's tailored to, but see if it's tailored to young people, like that's the sort of big figures, then you could definitely, like, I'm just thinking like from their sort of profit greedy soulless minds now, then you could definitely market it in that sort of way. But if it's like middle-aged people that watch it, I guess there's going to be less of a sort of tolerance.
Yeah.
And that's probably why it hasn't happened. Which
it's
is
like that horrible thing that Moffat said about casting a female doctor. It's not just for your sort of left-wing liberals, it's also for your Daily Mail readers.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, thanks, Stephen Moffat.
Yeah, H-Bomber guy said, well, thank you for admitting that there's a correlation between not liking a woman as the doctor and a Daily Mail reader.
Darius has just made a good point. I hate heteronormativity, such an old-fashioned thing. It is an old-fashioned thing.
It really is.
Because, I mean, well...
Oh, not really.
I'm about not. I'm about to get up on my high horse. I was just about to get onto the rant that I think you were about to get to. It's not an old-fashioned thing. In ancient Rome and ancient Greece, and people didn't really give a shit about sexuality. There was like in ancient Rome. I think ancient Rome. I always conflate the two because I'm a forgetful idiot. But it's I remember thinking there's something like there were even sort of common parlance terms for things like being a top or a bottom, and things like what's the word I'm looking for now? People just thought, oh, this is a beautiful person, regardless of their gender, their sexual orientation. This is a beautiful person that I want to be with.
Yeah.
Like there was this fascination with the human form and all its sort of complexity and everything.
Absolutely.
And so being not necessarily bisexual in a modern sense, but in a more of a, I just don't really care about the gender of the person I'm having sex with. That was sort of a more sort of ancient point of view of it all. And the same went for ancient Romans, who were by and large, I think that was covered in the episode of Doctor Who you were in. They briefly mentioned something about most ancient Romans are bisexual.
And Bill was seen as weird because she only likes women, and they were like, oh, okay, I mean, sure, if that's your thing.
And it's sort of but then it's sort of with the rise of sort of bizarre sexual stress. That's the only sort of term I can think about it, of sort of focusing in with like a laser on sort of like puritanical lifestyles, and you must forego.
I blame Catholicism.
Yeah, exactly. So do I. It's a very Catholic, very sort of like those people from Blackadder. Where it comes round and they do like just raw turnip for dinner. I've completely forgotten what religion they're supposed to be. It's a puritanical sort of Catholic sort of nonsense.
Yeah.
Of like, no, we have to just laser focus on the things that make us happy and remove them to cleanse ourselves of the original sin and all that utter bollocks.
Can I also say as well, in Rome, you were either a Roman or a barbarian, and they gave as much of a shit about race as they did about like eye colour. Like, you were either just a Roman citizen or you were like a barbarian, like outside of Rome, which is a horrible sort of distinction to make. But like, once like Rome had like sort of
when you're
taken a country, it wasn't, well, there's white Romans and then there's black. It's like, no, it's just you're Roman, and that's like a sort of thing. Like, it's sort of like this sort of weird sort of racist theory came along as well, like from sort of, Western philosophers, and I think that sort of also accompanied the rise of the Catholic Church. It was like, but it's like you're saying, these things like traditional family values are all sort of attributed as this ancient sort of thing that has always been and always will be.
What's the word? A naturalistic fallacy.
Yeah, I mean, the nuclear family, for instance, is so young. It's like a couple of 100 years old. Like, the idea that children in the Middle Ages were raised by two parents is ridiculous. What's that old adage? It takes a village to raise a child. Because it literally was. You would get up, you would go and you would help the baker, or you would go to the blacksmith. It wasn't. Yes, now you will go to school, and then you will come home, and you will tell mum and dad about your day. It's like that just wasn't how it was done. Most children were like street urchins and shit like that, unless you were like in a palace. That's where you would get that, and even then you'd be raised by servants anyway.
Yeah, so it's you're completely right. It's one of my favourite things about history is that people have always been people. People have always been sort of getting up and then just doing stuff for 12 hours and then collapsing. People have always done that, regardless of your sort of, whether you were born royal, born a peasant. People have always just been doing stuff. That's what life is. And I think it's, to pretend that there's any kind of order to it is foolish in the highest degree.
Yeah, I mean, I think Love Island is the equivalent of going to, like, the zoo. It's like...
Right.
They should get... I've always said this. They should get David Attenborough to narrate Love Island, because it's like human beings being brought down to their like basest instincts and just sort of caring about who they mate with. It's like... I think it's just a bit...
Fucked.
Fucked. The morals of the show, the sort of aesthetics of the show, the fact that 3 people have been claimed by the show, and the sort of whirlwind of toxicity that comes with it. I just think, if morality's to be taken seriously, I think Love Island should probably pack its bags.
Mm-hmm. I couldn't agree more.
And Uber Eats should sponsor someone else, like us.
Yeah, such as us.
Yeah, but I think that's all I've got to say on that.
Stuff is just stuff. Just do what makes you happy.
Stuff.
Do what makes you happy. Stuff is just stuff. Everybody is just some person.
Yeah.
Like it's
One partner is really a human thing by society. Yeah, true. Like monogamy isn't like even. We can't even like take that for granted as being like a sort of incredibly traditional thing. Like, because everyone was fucking everyone. It wasn't.
Yeah.
But thanks for watching, folks, and we will see you next time.
Indeed, we will. Thank you and good night.
Episode 86. The Suicide Squad, not the, not to be confused with
the Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad in 2016. This is the Suicide Squad.
It is, yes.
And it's starring Margot Robbie, Idris Elba, John Cena, Joel Kinnaman, Viola Davis, Michael Rooker, and there's some other people as well.
Yeah, there are other people there.
Peter
They're
Capaldi's
dotted around
in it.
Doing stuff. Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, he's a good guy. So do you have an opening statement, Lewis?
I have 2. So prepare your body for this, because it will disintegrate you through the sheer majesty of my words.
I'm prepared.
Fuck, I don't care about this movie. That was my first note that I wrote down in my notes, and I thought it deserved to be my opening statement, because it was quite apt about how I felt going into this movie. Wow. Because I remembered 2016 Suicide Squad, and I thought, God, that was shit. And I thought, a lot of these DC films have been shit. And so therefore, I don't really care about this one. If it's good, if it's bad, I don't give a shit. Turns out it's actually quite good.
It is.
My other opening statement is, this is Katana! Her sword traps the souls of its victims! I'd advise not getting killed by her!
Oh, God.
The best line in cinema history!
I really like how they sort of made a joke about that, when it was like, this is, what's Idris Elba's character's name?
Bloodsport?
This is Bloodsport. He's an orphan, and his father died when he was very young, and he became assassin ever since, and his hands are registered as deadly weapons. This is Peacemaker. He's an assassin. His hands are registered as deadly. So I really like that. A fun, well-paced, gory, absurdist film that really seems to get what the original film should have been. Snarky, irreverent, and rebellious. Really enjoyed this one, folks. See you next time, bitches.
And that's the end of the podcast. Have we got some shilling to do?
Yeah. It's a good film.
I liked that they wore Crocs in this film, We're going in with the hitting hard on the important aspect of the story, which is the fact that there were Crocs in this film. Crocs, which are the ultimate type of shoe. I'm a big fan of Crocs in any form they might take. Big fan.
Big fan. Big fanny. But not you.
Oh, Crocs as a concept?
Just the guy who made Crocs.
Mr. Croc.
Mr. Croc. Croc is shit. Come on. I deserve a round of applause for that. Fucking hell.
You ready? Here's your round of applause.
Go on. Whoa!
There you go.
Whoa. Listen to the people scream. Creepy room questions. The introduction of characters are so much fucking better than...
Oh, it's a damn sight better than,
Jesus
literally
Christ.
having words rolling down the screen. Oi.
Harley Quinn is a doctor, and she's crazy now. Okay. I like the idea of characters like reacting to each other and actually engaging in conversation that doesn't feel forced and rushed, because Slipknot, the man who can climb anything.
Oh god, that's a superpower.
Like you've got Pete Davidson going, "Oh shit, is this thing a weasel? What the fuck?" That's good. Yeah. That's smart. That's because I still don't know what it is, but it's it gets you sort of endeared to He's harmless. I mean, he's killed 27 children, but
I did enjoy that. I enjoyed the sort of organic feel of all the dialogue, which is obviously always a lovely thing. I also enjoyed Sebastian the Rat. I loved Sebastian the Rat. He was great.
He was
the waving and the drinking and I love Sebastian the Rat.
Very
I'm a sucker
much
for any kind of cute character. I'm there for it.
Yeah, definitely. The way that they sort of used the characters on the plane in the first shot as like a distraction was really smart.
Yeah.
I thought
a distraction for the audience as well, really.
Yeah, because I was like, Jesus, where's Idris Elba and John Cena and all that? And then it was like, haha, distraction. Which makes sense, because it's almost like because Captain Boomerang, who was in the original, was killed, and it's almost as if to say, yeah, we're not doing it the same way anymore. We're not doing it the way that didn't work. We've got a better way of doing it, because the way we were introduced to a lot of characters in the original was on one of those plane helicopter things, and I think it might have been the exact one, just with red lighting. It was that sort of, which hints to them being killed, which is quite smart as well. But yeah, it's very clever to sort of get that way of doing things out of the way. It's like, no, we're going to do it a bit better now.
I also liked that a lot of the characters are sort of missing, presumed dead. Sorry, that's a very strange way to put it, but the thing I'm trying to get at is I like that in the original they said, what if Superman comes back and turns out he's actually really evil now? Who's going to stop him? And then they said, well, Will Smith and his mates, they're going to stop Superman. And you went, are they really? Is that what? But I like that instead of that, it's because in this world, logically, if Superman, Batman, the Flash, they're all out there, kicking ass, and they're putting supervillains in jail, there's going to be a big surplus of supervillains in jail.
Yeah.
So that you're going to have to do something with them, right? You can't just put them in a box for 50 years.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that there's this sort of clandestine underground way to sort of, essentially, it's a gross way to say it, but to use up the supervillains.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
to sort of make them pay back their debt, almost.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I love the fact that just essentially the message of the film is it's all America's fault.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they fell a bit flat on it a little bit, because they didn't take it to where I would have liked them to. But Peter Capaldi makes it clear that it's not this foreign government that's responsible for this. It's actually your government, because it was them that used Nazi scientists. Why is it always Nazi scientists?
I think because it was in real life, and people don't like coming up with new ideas. That's how they got the rockets to work in World War II. The Allies couldn't figure it out, so they got some Nazi scientists to do it for them.
Like I mean, the Nazis were utterly destroyed. I mean, were they that good scientists? Really? And
No
they
idea.
have the ability to sort of, enhance this weird alien thing, and it's always fucking Nazi scientists. Always, it's just weird. But
I like that the villain is an undeniable cunt. I quite like that Peter Capaldi in this, his character, Dr. Bizarro, or what's his fucking name? The Thinker. He's an undeniable cunt.
Yeah.
There's no redeeming qualities to him. Because, I'm going to say it, Dan, I've had a fucking enough of grey villains. I've had enough of a villain being like, oh, I'm doing things, oh, but actually maybe I was good all along. Because,
well, that's not grey.
Well, exactly, yeah. That's the villain I've had a problem with. Is the sort of Severus Snape grey villain, I'm doing inverted commas, grey villain. The idea of, oh, I've been doing terrible things, but was it for a good reason? Oh, I don't know.
Oh.
And because grey villains are great, but that means that people that can't write grey villains like to try and write grey villains, and then fuck it. And that really annoys me. So I like that we've just had a villain that's just a massive twat.
Yeah.
It's like, there's a bit
definitely.
where, what is it, Starro, one of the Starro zombies said, oh, he had his way with me. And there's like a reaction shot of the Thinker, and she goes, well, like he just sort of shrugs and smirks a bit, like, well, can you blame me?
Jesus.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, what the fuck?
It's nice to have a villain that's such a bell end.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And it makes sense because of his massive intellect and the light bulbs coming out of his fucking head or whatever.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, a little bit. But he does just come across like an incredible dick, and he's a mixture between Rick Sanchez and like the Doctor. That's what the Doctor could have been, Lewis. If Doctor Who was under my control, I would have made him. This really weird inventor that fucked aliens. When no,
Good show, Dan.
Shit.
Yeah, I'd make the Doctor say fuck. That would be my first. Fuck! That'd be the first thing he'd say in his new regeneration. If I was showrunner, is the Doctor would say fuck.
Yeah, it would come out the TARDIS, see the big dinosaur in London. He'd be like, "Fuck, it's a dinosaur!"
Oh god. I like that the Thinker, when they grab him in the nightclub, or what is it? It's a gentleman's club, isn't it? When they grab him, he doesn't protest. He doesn't put up a fight, because of course you wouldn't. He's.
No.
I don't know how old Peter Capaldi is, but they sort of, like, he's been working in an underground lab for 30 years on some obscure Black Ops horrible thing. So he's not in a fit state to like start having a fist fight with John Cena.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? I like that he sort of looks around and goes, well, I'm not going to have a fist fight with any of you. I'm not. There's no point. There's no point in me doing that. So I'll just looks like I'll just come with you then.
Yeah.
He's just willing to go along with it, because of course he is.
I completely agree. I really think that Amanda Waller is a great villain.
I disagree.
Oh, go on.
Viola Davis is a very skilled actor, and Amanda Waller is dull. I find nothing interesting about Amanda Waller. She's just a person that does things. I just don't get it. Maybe it's me not quite reading enough into the character, but I feel like I just don't get it. Like, is she meant to be like a morally grey person? Is that what it's meant to be? Is she meant to be sort of, what's what I'm looking for now? Is she meant to be interesting? Because I don't find her that interesting. She's just kind of does stuff, like I say.
I think that she's a great sort of personification of American imperialism.
Yeah, I suppose so.
And I actually think that she was a better villain in the first film, because in the first film she wasn't afraid to get her hands dirty, and just let people who knew too much. She just absolutely just killed a room of people, and yet in this one she was fucking knocked out by a golf club. It was a bit weird. I really.
Go on, sorry.
I thought that Amanda should have been the main villain and not Starro, and Starro could have been like this misinterpreted thing and like misunderstood.
Which they kind of tried for, but didn't quite nail it. Because it's, I was happy floating through space, but...
Yeah,
well,
but
then
now
why do you want to conquer a city?
Yeah, now I'm
the
going to
two goals don't really conflate.
No, I completely agree. I kind of... This is how I would have done it if I was like, writing the thing. I would have had them go there, and... I like that they team up with the freedom fighters and stuff like that, and they overthrow the government. But I like the idea that the government is actually good, and it's because of like US forces that are making them do this, and then basically the Suicide Squad find this out, and them, Starro, and like the Corto Maltesians just team up against Amanda Waller, and that's who they fight at the end. And Amanda Waller is like found out to be like this like, sort of she's broken like international law or something like that, and is like arrested and sent to jail or something, or killed or something like that. Like I think that's a better way, because what it's essentially saying is, yeah, we were right to sort of kidnap this alien thing and try and use it, and because it's broken out, it'll just destroy the entire planet, rather than, no, we did this because we wanted to control it, and now we can't control it, and it doesn't just want to kill innocent people for no reason, you know, and it wants to get revenge on the people that kidnapped it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually, because it does want to kill innocent people for no reason. But I do get what you mean. I think it's easy to argue either way, I think, is the problem. Because Starro, essentially, is just some alien that still, even after 30 years, doesn't really understand what life is on the planet.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
It's like if you were abducted by some ants that were inexplicably as powerful as you, and then they put you in a hole for 30 years, you would probably, eventually, if you got free, would you not stamp on the anthill? Do you know what I mean? I don't...
Yeah.
I do see the point you make, and I do agree with you. It would be a better film for Starro to sort of learn what the nature of his imprisonment, or its imprisonment was, and to sort of go from there and to say, okay, well, if I've been imprisoned so horrifically, then who did this to me? Rather than just taking it out on the most nearby thing. Yeah, destroying the lab, but I suppose he already did that. Yeah, it's a hole that you're going to struggle to write yourself out of, I think.
Yeah, I mean, why did they not take over the Suicide Squad's minds? Like,
because they shot the little starfishes, I suppose.
Yeah, but how many are there? Isn't there like, loads?
That's a good point. There should be infinite starfishes. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, and then he just sort of walks away and leaves them. It's like, yeah, they're the only things that have like, stood in your way thus far. Wouldn't it make sense to like, take them out before you try and attack a city of innocent people? You know, it's like just alien bad, and instead of being selfish, they have to save the world. It's like, so what was the US's contribution to this if they hadn't stopped him?
If they hadn't stopped Starro?
If the Suicide Squad hadn't stopped Starro, what would Waller have done then? What is the point of the Suicide Squad?
She would have walked away, I imagine.
And just let Corto Maltese just be destroyed.
Deal with it, yeah.
But then...
Because she doesn't care.
It would inevitably turn...
Waller's... Go on.
Sorry, it would inevitably turn on the US, surely, because it's like, you kidnapped me, I'll kill you. Like... It's a flawless impression of Starro the Conqueror.
I suppose what Waller is relying on, I suppose, because she sort of says, well, as long as there's no evidence that the US kidnapped it, it's a he said, she said situation of like, well, this big starfish is saying that we did horrific things to it. Well, who knows? Who knows, really, at the end of the day? It's a big starfish from space. Who knows what's going on?
I mean, to be fair, Peter Capaldi did shout very loudly, it was US astronauts that kidnapped this creature, like that. And Starro's like listening, like, what? What the fuck?
I suppose Starro might not understand that. If it's just sort of if it's like a hive mind type creature, it might not understand the concept of a nation. We don't know what its origin is. Did it come from a planet of nations, and then it eventually jettisoned itself out to the stars?
Yeah.
I'm giving a lot of slack to the script and the film now, but there's a chance, I suppose, that it just doesn't understand like a nation as a concept.
But I'm gonna be honest. Like, if an alien is called Starro the Conqueror, I doubt it's gonna conquer one island and then just become like an isolationist sort of.
That's true. Yeah.
You know, it's. I think its purpose is to conquer. You know, I don't know. But Peter Capaldi gave it that name, so who knows? Maybe it's like, I just want a city for myself, and then it'll just stay there. I don't know. Probably not.
Maybe it thinks there's a rocket ship in the city that'll yeet it back up into space. God knows.
Maybe, yeah.
This is one of my notes. Fucking hell, John Cena is massive. It's like it always astounds me. The one that gets me is when I rewatch Terminator, Arnold Schwarzenegger teleports in from the future, and he's fucking massive.
Yeah.
It's just fucking gigantic. It's like, every time I watch one of these films, I'm genuinely, like, awestruck for a second and just like, fucking hell, isn't that insane? So I just wanted to share that moment of awe with everybody.
No, definitely. I'm actually kind of, like, in awe of, like, how far they went to, like, make America the bad guy in this.
Okay.
Like, because you've got Peacemaker, who is, like, just, like, if like, every angry veteran of the United States was, like, put into, like, one brain and, like, sort of sent out, that's what it would be, and that's the sort of person that would emerge.
I guess so,
and
but I would say that a lot of veterans are angry at the U.S. Army. They're typically not angry, like, at the people they were fighting against.
Fair enough, but like, you know the sort of, you know the type that I'm talking about, just the fervently nationalist sort of warmongering.
I would do anything for this country, but I won't wear a mask type.
Yeah, like I love peace. I don't care how many men, women, and children I have to kill to get it. Just that sort of incredibly imperialist U.S. foreign policy kind of mind, you know. And he is like, I'm serving my country. I can't let you tell everyone about how they were essentially arseholes. And, you know, I'm glad that they gave Rick Flag a bit of what do you call it? Integrity. It's like, I did this to serve my country, not be its damn puppet, and tried to, like, actually, you know, hold his regime accountable for the shit that they did. And just, I just want that normalised. I want the US government to be the villain of films, to be normalised.
Because I completely agree.
It's just fucking, it's always like, and
then the US comes and saves the day.
Yeah, the US comes and defeats the evil terrorists and stuff like that. It's very sort of, we've had a lot of like pro-American war hawkish propaganda for a lot of years. And I think you know that they're an incredibly powerful nation, and the least that they could do is have a couple of films that say, yeah, you do bad shit. I guess is what what I'm aiming for.
No, I completely understand and agree. So would a toothpick in the mouth be a viable solution for Starro the Conqueror?
Yeah.
Like that episode of Rick and Morty.
Yeah, definitely. I like that they had the javelin, that Harley Quinn had the javelin, and she was like, oh, now I know. That's just a funny thing. I mean, she didn't even, like, that wasn't really the reason it died. It was the hundreds of rats that were eating it, you know? She just sort of jump into this swimming pool, and like, everyone was like, wow, look at that, wow. And the rats sort of ate through him.
Maybe that would have been a bit of a better arc for Harley Quinn if the rats couldn't get into the eye, but she sort of skewered it with her javelin, allowing them to enter.
Yeah, definitely. I really like Ratcatcher too. I think
I like her. She was good.
Yeah, she's a really good character. It's a shame that
that's actually something I wrote here. This is actually so heartfelt. The Ratcatcher stuff. Love a good parent-child arc. It's like a really nice. Because it's quite understated, really. It doesn't play a big role in the narrative, but it's nice.
Yeah,
and it's strange to have such a nice story in amongst all these horrible stories of like how Polka Dot Man's mum abused him and all this horrible stuff. And you know what I mean?
you can really see the sort of influence of Guardians of the Galaxy in this film.
Yeah.
Like it's got the same sort of music. The characters are written sort of quirkily the same and all that. It's just a bit more adultish, I guess. I mean, but when I went to see it in the cinema, there was children in there, and I was like, what the fuck are you doing bringing your kids to see this shit show?
Yeah, it's very gory for a kid.
Yeah, very much so.
Is this a 15, this film? What is it?
I don't know if it was a 15. Was it?
Look. I don't know. I don't know.
Tell me, Lewis.
Suicide Squad UK age rating. It is... No, that's the one from 2016, for fuck's sake. 15 age rating. It's 15.
Oh, 15. Well, I think it should be an 18. But
most things aren't an 18 though. Like especially in the UK. Like Deadpool was a 15, and that has like fairly graphic sex, extremely graphic violence, lots of bad language.
Yeah, true.
It's very rare for a film to come out that's an 18 nowadays.
I agree. I don't want to sound like a sort of pearl clutching conservative, but 5-year-olds shouldn't be watching this film.
It's yeah, I know what you mean. It's yeah, this film obviously has content that is not suitable for kids. It's not suitable for different people.
Yeah, at least not in like a sort of cinema. Like maybe if you're brave and you want to try and explain to your kid about certain things and want to indoctrinate them into leftism, then show them show the US is bad. And what do we call that, little Stevie? Yes, the military-industrial complex. That's right. Here's a cookie. You know what I mean? I put this note in.
Go on, sorry.
No, on you go.
Could the little Starros become a big Starro with time? Will they age and grow to be the size that the big Starro was? Because 30 years prior to the events of this film, the Starro that they captured was sort of the size of a human, slightly smaller than the size of a human.
Yeah.
And then the Starro that came out of the castle was fucking massive. So, could they little Starros grow into a big Starro? Who knows?
Potentially, I guess. I mean, but it looks as if they feed off of the host, if you get me.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Can Starro fly?
I don't know. Maybe
because
Why?
It looked as if the little Starros could fly and sort of direct where they were following, if you know what I mean. But I don't know. Maybe
they're light enough, or sort of they have a large enough sort of surface area that they can sort of glide like one of those squirrels.
Yeah.
Because like it's like they're being dropped out of a big hole that's like 100 meters up in the air or something. Maybe all they have to really be able to do is to sort of glide towards a person's face.
Yeah, maybe so. I put this note in because I saw an advert for it before the film started. Should James Corden just go on Broadway?
I'm sorry, what?
Because
what the fuck are you talking about?
I'm just seeing James Corden in a lot of singing stuff now, and it's really
annoying
good at singing?
me.
I mean, he's okay, but like, he's not a very good talk show host, and apparently he's a dick to work with, and he's just in every. Like, he was in Cats, and there can't be a musical film without his face popping up in it.
He was in Trolls, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he played,
I'm sick of seeing him.
One of the guys in Trolls.
I'm sick of seeing his face.
Yeah, I don't like James Corden very much.
Like, I just see every time I see him, I want to chop my ears off and scrunch them up into nose plugs. Like,
Right.
I'm at that point now, and I'm like, oh, that looks like good music. Oh, fuck off! James Corden's in it. Like, it's just, it's like, I don't know.
Have we seen that him? Who was it? It was him, Camila. I never know whether it's Camila Cabello or Cabello or.
I think it's Cabello.
Camila Cabello and Idina Menzel. They stopped traffic in LA. I think they were promoting the new Cinderella movie that's coming out.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Dressed up and they were
that's
like a flash mob. Yeah.
He was in that, and I was like, why is he in this? Why is he in every film?
I have literally no idea. People seem to really like him. People seem to think he's charismatic and charming and funny and interesting.
Why?
And I just don't find him to be any of those things.
Why? He's not.
Yep.
He wrote Gavin and Stacey, which was good, but like, other than that, like he's like, what is he doing? I'm sorry, James, if you're listening to this. See if we like make it one day in terms of like acting, and we like, you know, and then he invites us on his dog shit chat show. Like, no. I can't tell whether I'm gonna stick to my guns and say, James, I really think that you're a worthless entertainer, or am I gonna be like, James, it's so nice to be here. Thank you for having me. Haha.
I think I just wouldn't go on it. It's like how I think it was Ewan McGregor was going to go on Good Morning Britain a while ago, and then he discovered that particular day that he was going to go on, Piers Morgan would have been hosting. So I think he said, no, if Piers Morgan's doing it, I'm not doing it.
Well,
so
I don't think he's as bad as Piers Morgan.
No, very few people in the world are as bad as Piers Morgan. Yeah, but
Piers
I certainly wouldn't do an interview with Piers Morgan.
Yeah, I think I would.
Really?
I'd do an interview with him. Like, I mean, it depends what he wanted to talk about, obviously. If I'd done something that he disagreed with, and he wanted to talk to me about it, I think I'd go and I'd defend myself, and I'd be like, give him a showing up. Like that MP, Scottish MP, Ross something, said about Winston Churchill being a white supremacist, and Piers Morgan put on his Britannia t-shirt and started puffing his chest up and saying that, you know, and Ross Gray was like, yeah, well, he did some pretty bad things, and, you know, engineered the Bengal famine and stuff like that, and Piers Morgan was like, Winston Churchill! Like, you just, like, he was acting like a sort of a ring girl for Winston Churchill, you know, it was weird. But I think I would.
No, I know, I don't, I just can't stand him. I think I wouldn't.
That's why I'm
not in the business of deliberately putting myself in situations that I know I would hate. Do you know what I mean?
That's why I would go. I'd love it. I'd be like, fucking yeah.
There's like a weird sort of masochistic way of like,
yeah,
I hate this and that's why I love it.
Yep. I mean, I think the difference between Piers Morgan and James Corden is that Piers Morgan does measurable harm to the world, whereas James Corden's just insufferable.
Yeah, that's accurate.
You know, but there you go.
I think I'm out of notes, Dan.
I think we both are, considering we're now talking about James Corden and Piers Morgan. But there you go. Do you have a closing statement?
I do have a closing statement. Much better than I expected it to be. I expected it to be mediocre and sort of potentially a bit crap. It was actually pretty good. I don't want to say I want a sequel, because I don't, really. Yeah. But if I would like to imagine that DC will take this as a sign that perhaps they should be more creative with the movies they make. Although, of course, they will not be. They will continue to shit the bed as much as they can with every single film they make. So that'll be good.
A very refreshing film in a line of flops. I'm really grateful that this film exists, as it seems DC was desperate for a win, and they definitely got it here. We've got Batman coming out, another Batman coming out, so maybe things can turn around at last for DC.
I'm not entirely sure if Batman's going to be good. I'm going to be completely honest with you.
What, with Robert Pattinson?
Yeah, don't get me wrong, I've seen the trailer. Robert Pattinson looks good. All the bits and bobs in the trailer look good. I know Paul Dano's good. But there's something, I've got this weird feeling in my gut that it's going to be like, oh no, the Riddler is actually Batman's brother. Or Batman has to break his one rule, and it's a really tense moment, but it won't be earned because we've only known this Batman for 2 hours. And I don't know, I've got this funny feeling that it won't be as good as I want it to be.
Yeah.
Maybe this way I'm just protecting myself, because I'll either be right or pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, true.
So that's my method.
It's Pascal's wager. No. But yeah, that was The Suicide Squad.
It was.
The Suicide Squad. Should we do some shilling?
Yeah, go on then.
Some evil capitalist shilling. Dari says Harley Quinn actually states the relationship with the Joker was unhealthy. I mean, no fucking shit, Harley. Jesus Christ. Come on now.
Yeah. I'm very thankful for that, because there was a frankly petrifying number of people when the first film came out that were like, oh, the Joker and Harley Quinn, what a beautiful relationship. No,
I ship
it's
them.
terrifying.
I ship them so much. What? Do you need... Can someone section this person under the Mental Health Act? Like, I mean, Jesus Christ. It's really... Like, the amount of people that were saying shit like that, it's so weird. It's so gross that people were like, oh my God, I'd love a relationship like that. I'd be like, I really hope, I pray that you never end up in a relationship half as bad as that one. It's like this weird idealism of just toxicity. It's everywhere. It's in Love Island. It's in the Suicide Squad. It's in Piers Morgan. It's in James Corden. Oh, fucking hell. We're fucked, Lewis. We're fucked. We're never going to solve climate change at this rate. Wheel of Linktrees. Lewis's Linktree is linktr.ee/Lewis_Brindley. Mine's is /O'Hiram. And the podcast is /Shouting Into the Void. There you will find our socials, our Instagram, our YouTube. So go have a look. Give us a like, a follow, subscribe, click the bell, all that shite. And see what you like.
Indeed.
We have a PayPal donate button, so anything you can spare, anything at all would be greatly appreciated. We also have Patreon. And we want to take the opportunity, as we do every week, to thank our wonderful, wonderful patrons. Chloe.
Thank you.
Darius.
Thank you.
Peter.
Thank you.
Aditya.
Thank you.
Richard.
Thank you.
Natalie.
Thank you.
And Doogie.
Thank you, one and all. You and your support enables us to keep talking about films that are pretty good and remind you of films that are pretty terrible.
Yes, absolutely.
Hey Dan, do you remember that Suicide Squad film from 2016? Wow, that was terrible.
That was shit. Did we ever do an episode on that?
No, I don't think we did, you know.
Maybe we should.
Yeah, maybe we should. One day. It's on the list.
I mean, we've basically said as much as we can about it because we don't stop talking about it. We also have merch on Teespring and Redbubble. We sell tote bags, jumpers, t-shirts, mugs, stickers. Have I mentioned tote bags? All sorts of stuff. Go have a look.
Badges,
see what you
maybe.
Like. Badges, maybe. I'll need to check. Onion badges.
Darius thinks we have done an episode on Suicide Squad. Shall I check?
I don't think we have.
I don't. I honestly. Oh, for fuck's sake! I honestly don't know.
I think
Carry
we
on,
did,
and I'll Google it.
I think we did Batman v Superman, but I don't think we did.
We did, yeah.
Did
I think we did the Ultimate Edition. Oh, I can't fucking remember. Media Library. Will it be there? My podcast.
It might be. It'll be on YouTube, won't it?
Oh yeah, good point. Here we go. Suicide Squad. Nope.
No, we haven't.
What, episode 51, Suicide Squad?
God, there's 87 episodes in here.
I don't think so, no. Did we do Batman v Superman?
I haven't seen Batman. Oh, we did.
We did?
It's Void 22.
For what? Sorry, Suicide Squad?
Yeah, and then we did Batman v Superman.
The more you know.
Oh, do you remember back then, Lewis, when our audio was shit?
Was?
But yeah, where was I? Yeah, so that's the merch. And last, but certainly not least, we are partnered with an amazing company called Number 12 Crochet Avenue. And Lewis is going to say some wonderful things about them, all of which are true.
Indeed I am. Number 12 Crochet Avenue is a wonderful company run by my wonderful wife in which they crochet and they're very, very good at it. If you'd like to be up to date with all sorts of bits and bobs that are absolutely amazing and are to do with the world of crochet, you can go to @Number 12 Crochet Avenue on Instagram and you can check out what they're doing, give them a cheeky follow and keep up to date.
Absolutely. Darius has just said I can't listen to earlier episodes of the podcast. Neither can I, Darius. Neither can I. I've actually considered just being like recording them all again, like by myself, but doing your voice, Lewis, just to have a better audio quality. I can't remember where the cut-off point is, where I finally realised that I was recording in stereo instead of mono. I
honestly can't remember either, because we made a number of incremental changes that have resulted in vaguely acceptable audio quality.
I think it might have been The Babysitter. Was it?
Maybe? I don't remember. Man, that was a good movie. I enjoyed The Babysitter.
No, it's not that.
The fuck was that?
Get you, Mr. Sunny, with your sunny things.
it's not the Thing either.
In a Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah, it's the Holiday.
Yeah.
It's the Holiday. Void 33.
Nice. Go on, let's carry on with the shilling.
I think we're done.
Oh, are we? Oh, lovely. Oh, well, bye.
Yeah. Shall I spin the wheel to tell us about what we're going to be doing next?
Yeah, spin the wheel.
Yeah, go on. Woo! The Iron Lady.
Yeah. Wonder if it's anything like Iron Man.
Yeah. Just Margaret Thatcher showing up in a fucking dustbin, flying about, stealing people's milk.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we watched it when I was at Lewis's, and it was pretty interesting. Meryl Streep gives an amazing performance, but I'm not going to go into my notes because otherwise we won't have anything to talk about next week. But yeah, so there's something to look forward to there. We're getting ever closer to Void 90, and we've got some exciting stuff for that. So yeah,
we
definitely. Do. But other than that, I think we'll have to love you and leave you.
Indeed. Thank you very much for listening. We will see you next week, and goodbye.
Goodbye.